Hi, I'm Amy Stasiewicz, and welcome to The Minutes. Thanks for tuning in. It's great to have you along on The Minutes for the week of January 12th. This is a City of Thunder Bay podcast. The Minutes looks at what happened at Thunder Bay City Council this past week. You can find The Minutes wherever you get your podcasts, including our YouTube channel and our website, thunderbay.ca/theminutes. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an update. This week was the first 2026 City Council meeting. Some big topics were covered at Tuesday's meeting, including a proposal for a zoning bylaw amendment on John Street Road, a presentation from the CEDC on their new strategic plan, the much-anticipated discussion about the surplus declaration for 4 new opportunity sites, and changes to the Community Auditorium Reserve Funds. We'll break down the highlights from this meeting, and later I'll be joined by the CEDC to talk about their current projects and plans. So let's get started. Like all council and standing committee meetings, the meeting began with a land acknowledgement. City Council meetings also open with a national anthem performed by a guest or local group. This week, the performance was by Ava Murray from Renegade Performing Arts. Following the anthem, Council moved directly into the agenda. First was an announcement about an upcoming McKellar Ward meeting, which will be happening on February 11th at the Oliver Road Community Center at 7 p.m. Okay, so let's get into the meeting. Starting off the night was a public meeting about a proposed temporary zoning bylaw modification on 1755 John Street Road. Planning Services is recommending a 20-year temporary zoning amendment to allow a garden suite on this property. A garden suite is a small, self-contained home located on the same property as an existing home. The proposed suite would be connected to the property's existing well and septic system. Under the Planning Act, garden suites are permitted as temporary housing for up to 20 years. Public consultation resulted in one concern regarding well and septic capacity and possible short-term rental use. However, planning staff confirmed the suite is intended for long-term residential use only. City departments reviewed the application and raised no objections. After a brief discussion, Council approved the change to the City of Thunder Bay bylaws for the garden suite. Next was a presentation from Jamie Taylor, the CEO of the Thunder Bay Community Economic Development Commission. The CEDC has a new strategic plan rolling out this year. The CEDC's last strategic plan was released in 2023, which focused on pillars such as natural resources, workforce, immigration development, tourism, strengthening community, and business support. Jamie will be joining us later to talk all about this new strategic plan. Next was a closed session. One item came from closed session, which was a new appointment to the Accessibility Advisory Committee. There was a vacant position, and now Mayor Boschkoff will be filling that position. Following the closed session was the consent agenda and consent agenda resolutions. Since this was the first City Council meeting for 2026, there were numerous consent agendas to discuss and approve. Items included minutes from standing committee meetings and ward meetings, unsuccessful tax sale properties, an update on Animal Services Task Force, the appointment of acting fire chief, the T-Baytel dividend model, and a Via Rail procurement, to name a few. Typically, all consent agenda items are approved together. However, due to a conflict of interest from Councillor Aiello, one item was extracted, which was the Community Youth and Cultural Funding Program. All consent agenda items were then approved by Council. All right, so now let's get into the reports of administration. The first report from City Administration is a recommendation to declare 4 vacant city-owned properties as surplus. Over the past few months, the proposal has sparked considerable community discussion with some mixed emotions. The 4 properties recommended are on Fanshawe Street, Tokyo Street, Tupper Street, and Arundel Street. This step does not approve construction. Instead, it allows the city to continue negotiations with developers and move forward with planning processes like site plan control and in some cases rezoning. These sites were identified through a city call for proposal aimed at increasing housing supply. Together, the leading proposals could deliver over 1,000 new housing units, helping address ongoing housing shortages and affordability strains. From a financial standpoint, the city estimates the land sales could generate $2 to $3 million in revenue, support roughly $400 million in construction investment, and add between $1.4 and $2.8 million annually in new property tax assessment. Public feedback was gathered through meetings, open houses, and an online survey. When asked how important it is for the city to support development, about 67% of the respondents said it was very important, and less than 13% felt it wasn't that important. Support varied depending on the area, but overall it leaned positive. For example, about 61% of respondents were supportive of development at 300 Tokyo Street, and nearly 65% supported proposals for the Tupper and Camelot Streets. Back in December 2025, the Growth Standing Committee held a special meeting on the 4 proposed sites, where residents brought forward a number of deputations. Concerns focused on building scale, traffic, green space, and neighborhood capability. In response, some proposals were adjusted by the city administration, including reduced building sizes. Specifically at the Arundel Street project, which was revised from 600 units down to 400 units. It's important to note that declaring the land surplus allows the process to continue, but it doesn't end there. Any future development would still require future studies, approvals, and additional opportunities for the public's input. Overall, the survey results support using these sites for housing, and that developing them could provide long-term housing and economic benefits while continuing to address community concerns. After a lengthy 2-hour discussion, City Council decided to vote on each of the parcels of land separately. Each of the 4 properties were approved for surplus. However, it's important to note that this won't be the last time Council discusses these 4 properties. 2 of the properties still need to be rezoned, and Council will have to approve the purchase of sale for each property in the upcoming months. So stay tuned. The next report from administration was the recommendation to allocate up to $93,000 to the Thunder Bay Community Auditorium to cover engineering consulting costs. This funding would come from the Thunder Bay Community Auditorium Capital Reserve Fund. The Community Auditorium is a city-owned building, but it's operated by the Thunder Bay Community Auditorium under a lease agreement. While the city owns the facility, the operator is responsible for maintaining it and planning for future upgrades. To support that work, City Council created a dedicated capital reserve fund in 2023 to help cover major repairs and long-term improvements. The operator is now putting together a multi-year renovation plan expected to start this year, and the engineering studies are an important first step. They'll help guide future repairs and support applications for outside funding. Administration has reviewed the request and confirmed that it's an appropriate use of the reserve fund. Financially, the reserve fund has enough capacity to cover the request with an estimated balance of about $290,000. This funding helps to plan ahead, protect a major community asset, and support the long-term sustainability of the community auditorium. After some discussion, City Council approved the request. Near the end of the meeting, City Council then reviewed and approved a series of bylaws and discussed new business. Okay, so that's it for City Council updates for this week. Next, I'll be chatting with the Community Economic Development Commission to discuss all the new and exciting things they've been working on, including their new strategic plan. I'm joined in the Minute Studio by Jamie Taylor, the CEO of the CEDC, to discuss their new strategic plan and all the ways their organization helps grow and strengthen our city. Hey, Jamie, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so let's get into it. Okay, so for listeners who don't know, what exactly is the CEDC?
So the CEDC, the Thunder Bay Community Economic Development Commission, we're an arm's length organization that has a separate board of directors, but essentially is the economic development arm of the city. So we do several things. We have priorities in business, community, and tourism, and have a whole bunch of programs and initiatives that we deliver to help strengthen our community.
Okay, and what is the connection to the city of Thunder Bay for people who might not know?
So we have a separate board of directors, but the mayor as well as one city councillor sit on our board as a voting member, and then the city manager also participates as an ex officio member, which means that he participates, he can ask questions, but he just doesn't vote.
Right, and then occasionally, like this past week, you go to city council sometimes.
Yeah, so we receive probably the majority of our funding from the city of Thunder Bay, so we go through that budget process. We get our annual budget. We do seek other funding for different projects and initiatives, but the core budget that we receive to be able to deliver our operations is from the city of Thunder Bay. So as a result of that, we have an agreement and we provide regular reporting, but we also work pretty collaboratively because it's economic development. We need to partner with the city proper. So keeping the city council informed of our activities is really important so that they understand when we're bringing something forward, how it links to what we're trying to achieve.
Yeah, makes sense. Your office oversees, when I was looking at your website, Visit Thunder Bay and the Entrepreneur Center. Can you explain a bit about what that's all about?
Yeah, so those are two of the brands. So Visit Thunder Bay is our tourism team. So that's a brand that they've developed over the years. And tourism used to actually be a part of the city, it was a city department some years ago, but was spun out and brought under the community economic development. I think 6 or 7 years ago. I might have the dates a little bit wrong. It was before my time, but I think that's it was a really great move. It was done because of a need in terms of when the municipal accommodation tax was coming in. We needed a tourism not-for-profit organization to be able to receive those funds. That's funding that is on when you stay at a hotel, you pay an extra fee, and that is fed back into the municipalities. Half comes to the CEDC, half stays in the municipality, and it's to invest in tourism infrastructure and other related tourism things. But it really was a demonstration how tourism is a part of economic development, and there's a lot of cross collaboration with the tourism team, our business team, and our community teams.
Right, yeah. And
the Entrepreneur Center, so that's the brand. So we're one of the provincially funded small business enterprise centers, and that's the brand of our small business enterprise center. So the Entrepreneur Center delivers all kinds of programs for small business startup, expansion, as well as businesses that are looking at succession planning.
Okay, both really important things.
Very important.
Yeah. And we were talking about the Entrepreneur Center. So if someone is starting out a business or wants to start up a business, how do they go about that?
They give us a call.
Yeah.
We do, you can just give us a call, send us an email. Kyle is our small business officer. He sets up appointments. He'll talk to you about your business idea. He'll give you all the resources. And then we also have programs to support. So we have a starter company program, which is you have the opportunity to get a $5,000 grant towards the startup of your business. We also have an Indigenous entrepreneurship specific one called Minikanan Batakadoon. Same kind of concept. You have to do some mandatory training, but really that training is to help structure your business and ensure the greatest success, and then you have a chance at a grant to be able to help offset some of those startup costs.
What are some of the key sectors that your team is involved in? Like, obviously, we've talked about entrepreneurship, tourism, but what other things are you up to?
Yeah, so I would say like the small business is more of the retail, commercial type activity, but we have many strategic sectors that we pursue from a larger business perspective. So mining and forestry definitely are top of mind for us. I think it's been about 2 years now since we did mining service and supply gap analysis. So we're trying to position ourselves as the mining hub for Northwestern Ontario. I think we've been pretty successful at that. We have a number of mines in and around us, but nothing within the city. But we have all of the service and supply here. And we had a few things missing, we discovered. So we've been really we're being more strategic about how we attract those companies, and we look for those specific companies that we need. So we're not creating undue competition within the existing structures, but we're looking at making sure that we have a robust supply and service. So all the mines can get everything that they need from Thunder Bay.
Right.
On the forestry side as well, we're looking at opportunities to really enhance the ecosystem, looking at different value-added product, and really supporting our anchor mills, both with Domtar and Thunder Bay paper. They're important for our economy, and we want to see them be successful in the future.
Right. And what about healthcare?
Yeah, so healthcare, not healthcare specifically, but there are some opportunities around health technology clusters. We have some really great companies here. It's something that we're going to be looking into more. We do have some of those foundational pieces, and we need to figure out how we can be better growing that sector. As well, with some of the recent announcements from the federal government around defense spending, we see that as a real opportunity for our community. We're going to be hosting a workshop actually at Prosperity Northwest, the Chamber's event on the 28th, to really start talking about the opportunities and how businesses get involved and what those opportunities are. Because there's several businesses within our community that build things like when you think about defense procurement, it could be as simple as they need some sort of a bolt or widget or whatever it is, right?
Right.
We do that stuff here in our community. So if the businesses are interested, we want to be able to connect them with those opportunities in the defense sector that will really help grow their market.
Right. Oh my gosh, there's so much involved.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I often see the funding announcements come from the CEDC. What programs do you have for this funding?
Yeah, so probably what you're seeing is likely the programs that we deliver under the Entrepreneur Center. So the $5,000 grants, we announced that. We also have a summer company program, so we announced those with those big checks. And then our other one that you probably see the most is our Tourism Development Fund. So when I talked about the MAT funding that we receive, so we receive 50% of the money that is generated, and we reinvest that all into our community. So we have a program that supports tourism events and tourism product development. And there's an application process that you go through. We have a tourism investment committee that reviews and scores applications, and then we provide funding based on those scores. It's a really great tool for us to attract sport and conventions. So any of those sporting activities that you see in the community, those organizations can apply because they're bringing in people from outside of the community. It's all based on attracting visitors to our community. And we know that people travel when they have to go to their children's sporting events or even as adult events, and as well for conventions. So if you have to go to a work conference or a different industry conference, you're going to be traveling, and we're able to offset some of those costs for bringing those types of events to our community, and those are the announcements that you're likely seeing.
Right, yeah, like people like to add on a couple days before or after a conference. Yeah.
Absolutely, and we also work with the conference organizers to ensure that they're highlighting some of the things that you can do in Thunder Bay to really maximize that visitation, the visitor's dollar while they're here.
Right, yeah. Okay, so let's chat about the exciting news that you presented this week at City Council, which is the new CEDC strategic plan. So why did the CEDC come up with this new plan?
So we were at the end. The previous plan was for 3 years. So last year we just had a discussion with the board about what that looked like. What do we need to do next? We agreed that it was time to renew the strategic plan. We wanted to look at a 5-year plan versus a 3-year plan just to have more longevity. Obviously, there'll be check-ins on it and flexibility to make adjustments. But we also started by engaging external economists to take a look at what are the growth opportunities within our community. And I did present that back in October to City Council and really talked about some of the opportunities around things like mining and forestry and the health cluster as well as defense. The opportunities for enhanced population growth, as well as some of the commercial area gaps that we had and how we were a service hub for the region, And that's all very important. So we took that information and then we strategized about what's the next 5 years going to look like and what do we really want to achieve. And that's where we landed. Thunder Bay Forward, Building Our Growth Story, is our new strategic plan. We're really proud of the work that we've done. It's set around the 3 pillars of business, community, and tourism. And really we want to see businesses grow, jobs grow, more population coming to our community and more visitors coming to our community.
Right. And you know what? That kind of pivots into my next thing. The Smart Growth Action Plan. So I feel like these will be merging together, working together, these 2 plans. I know the CEDC is a key player both in the planning and execution of that plan. Can you explain a bit more about how your team is involved?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was a co-chair for the Smart Growth Action Plan or Task Force. And that was really important because we do a lot of the same work, but different, right? The city is responsible for creating the conditions for growth, and we're responsible for the investment attraction, population growth, all of those other aspects, as well as tourism. But it's really important that we come together. So I was able to influence some of the actions under the Smart Growth Action Plan, and that's about, especially on the readiness piece, is about creating those conditions. So making sure we have land availability, making sure we're prioritizing housing, because that's important as we look for investment attraction. We need a space to attract that new manufacturing company, and we need houses for people that we're going to attract to come to our community. So the 2 work hand in hand. We need both pieces. It doesn't work if someone's not doing their job, either on our side or their side. And there's a lot of collaboration. There's also a lot of, there's specific actions within the Smart Growth Action Plan that we're tagged with. And those also appear within our strategic plan. So it's a really great collaboration.
Okay, so we definitely covered a lot today about what you and your team do. But is there anything else that we didn't chat about that you want to mention?
What we do at the CEDC is really trying to help promote our community, attract investment to our community, welcome people to our community. And I think what I would like all the listeners to do as well is be ambassadors for our community. There's a lot of really positive things happening in our community. There's new businesses that are opening all the time. We have a great culinary scene. We have great educational institutions. We have great employers, small businesses. There's a lot of really great things happening in our community, and we need to be proud of that, and we need to be telling people that we're proud of that.
Yeah, you're great cheerleaders.
We are the cheerleaders.
You are the cheerleaders, but also the doers.
And the doers.
Yeah, all the doers.
We try to do it all.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so thanks so much for coming and chatting with us today, and thanks for everything you guys are doing for our community.
Thank you for the opportunity to highlight it.
That's it for this week's episode of The Minutes. A big thank you to Jamie Taylor, CEO of the CEDC, for joining us. And as always, thanks for listening. If you want more information about City Council, agendas, or minutes, visit thunderbay.ca/council. You can catch the minutes every week wherever you get your podcasts, on our YouTube channel or on our website at thunderbay.ca/theminutes. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so you never miss an update. I'm Amy. Thanks again for listening to The Minutes. Have a great week.